Welcome to The Gorgeous Effect, the podcast that's about to rock your marketing world. I'm Julie Chanel, and with my co-founder, Cathy Olson, we're the masterminds behind Funnel Gorgeous and FG Funnels. We're about to drop some serious tea on how to create funnels that not only look amazing, but actually convert into customers. We'll chat mouth-watering offers, copy, design, and give you an inside look of some of our best and worst funnels. No smoke and mirrors, just real strategies that work from two ladies who have been around the funnel block. So grab your coffee or something stronger, we won't judge, and get ready to unleash the gorgeous effect on your business. It's time to show the world what you've got. Let's do this. Hey everyone, it is Julie and Cathy. We're back with another episode of The Gorgeous Effect. Dun dun dun, the dark side of market research. That's what we're going to talk about today. You ready?
Yeah, I'm ready. We're going to go on the dark side. Or wait,
Okay.
are we going to the dark side? Or are we talking about the bad things? Like,
The bad
are we
side of
switching
market
sides?
research.
Because I would say that we were on the side of, what's the opposite of the dark side? Like the Force, the good side, the Jedi side? I don't know.
The force of light. I don't know.
Yeah.
Okay. Market research. This is something that is a really good strategy and tactic that many people do when they're trying to brainstorm an offer, right? So it's looking at competitors in the space, looking at what they're selling, looking at who their audience is, what their market position is there competition, right? Nobody would say that market research is bad. And we actually recommend people do this. There is a little rabbit hole that kind of comes off of that. Like if you've come from the internet marketing world, you'll hear people talk about funnel hacking. That's like market research on another level. That's like buying a competitor's stuff and like breaking down everything they did and how they did it. And that's gone completely haywire and people now cheat and steal and all this other stuff. I don't really want to talk about that. I want to talk about what happens mentally to you, the business owner, when you do market research and all of the like landmines that are waiting for you.
I feel like I have changed my whole I don't know, my perspective, but also like my playbook on this ever since going into business with you.
Oh,
Because
geez. I don't know what you're going to say now.
yeah, well, I mean, we're going to explore the dark side, aren't we? Okay, so
Okay.
yeah, I think because I'm like almost okay. I want to say this in the right way, not say the wrong words, but
Oh, here
it's
we
probably going
go.
to come out wrong. I'm almost afraid to come to you with what someone else is doing because you almost immediately shut it down most of the time.
Ah,
So like whereas okay, so because like you have friends in business, right? And you're like, "Oh, did you see what so and so's doing?" But like I never come to you and say, "Do you see what so and so's doing?" because you almost immediately shut it down. But you just have this like not not like ignorance is bliss, but you almost don't want to know things sometimes. And so I actually protect your energy in that way. And I'm very careful when I say, well, look what they're doing, because some of the times you're like, I don't give two craps what they're doing because that's not us. But it's in a good way. So I want to kind of unpack that a little bit of like, why do you ignore your competition? But you know what I mean? Like, when does it
yeah,
become
I
market
totally.
research versus like, I don't know, jealousy, or like, well, I'm not doing that. Like, because you have a really good, you have boundaries around this, is what I want to
Yeah,
say. But this maybe has a little to do with shiny object syndrome too, and your ability to
maybe.
kind of like, stay on track with things. But yeah, I definitely have a different, I used to chase after everything everyone else was doing and look at as a negative on myself. Well, I'm not doing this.
Mm.
I'm not doing that. I'm not. So now I have a totally different perspective, but it's because of the way you have a perspective. So do you want to just
Yeah.
unpack what I just
Well,
said?
that's amazing. I mean, some of it, like obviously, Cathy and I have very different strengths. So there are times when she's bringing new ideas that I need to pay attention to. And then there are other times where she's getting caught up in an idea and I'm like, well, hang on, like we got to stay the course. So I'm trying to think about the difference because like the you came back from a mastermind once and had this whole plan about the workshop series into the challenge, into the launch. You brought that idea and we went for it. I was like, yeah, let's go for it. And I'm trying to think what the difference was between that versus something. I'm thinking about another event where you're like, oh, they're making this much money doing this. And I was like, oh, that's bullshit. Like, that's not gonna,
And
that
these are
the
all the
margins.
filtered ideas. Like these aren't like me coming to you with every idea. These are me like going, okay, is this one good enough to come
to
to
bring-
you? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like now I don't
yeah.
do it as anywhere near as much. Do you remember how much I used to do it in the begining?
Yeah.
Like
And I
every
felt
day.
bad because I couldn't keep up with your ideas. I'm like, man, it must be so hard to live in Kathy's brain.
I say this because I think that people are listening are like they're the me's. Like they're
Yeah.
constantly have it's almost like you have these antenna that are out in the world and you're just on social media or whatever and on email lists and you're just like, what are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? What are they doing? And it's really bad for your mental health. Like it's actually
Yeah.
not good. And so I've actually had to pull back from that and actually lean on my own ideas. Right. So I don't know. I know we were talking about market research, but I think this is this is the dark side of market research is
Yeah.
like starting to feel like, well, I don't have that. I don't have that. I don't have that. But who said that what someone else is doing is what you're supposed to be doing? Like whoever made that rule of, because you
Right.
don't even know what they're, I don't know. It's,
You
I
don't know
think,
what's really happening
right.
behind the scenes. So, all right. So, like, if we talk about the good side of market research for a second here, when you came back from that mastermind and whoever it was had done like a pretty detailed debrief of their launch, right? So you came with like, this is what they did, and then they did this,
I
and then
had
they did this.
numbers. I
You had
had,
numbers,
exactly.
you had a whole bunch of stuff. And then I think it was the combination of like you had numbers and tactics and results, and it was also something that was like really doable for our
Yeah.
world. And so I
And a
think it was,
similar audience too. Not the same
yes,
audience, but a very similar audience to know that that tactic would work with our audience.
right.
That's a huge part of it.
And I think what was crazy about it, but we did it, was like when you brought it back, we had like 6 weeks to like get it out the door. So I remember
Yeah,
we like,
when you said we could do it, I'm like, well, I
it
mean, we
was
kind of
like,
weren't sure if we could do it. So there was that.
yeah, it was a really, really intense, but we did it and then it worked really well. And so that was an example of Cathy bringing an idea that we took and we did and worked. I think the the dark side to market research is that you can absolutely start feeling like I'm not good enough, I'm missing out. It's FOMO, it's imposter syndrome, it's all this stuff. And then there's also the really bad tendency to copy what other people are doing, which is one of the biggest reasons why I don't pay attention, is because I don't want to copy in a way that like I can look someone dead in the eye and say every single course I've built is, really from my own sort of experience, which helps. But I think that where it can get really dicey is when you see the top of the iceberg, but you don't see the bottom. So like when you're like, oh my gosh, they're doing this coaching program and they're making 18 million a year, my radar goes off and I'm like, how much are they spending? Like, do they have to have a whole sales team? And I'm like bringing all of these sort of like black hat feelings into it from experience of trying to coach people in this. And then I'm like, yeah, I don't want to make $18 million that way. Right. And then I kind of shut it down.
It's interesting too because what I was just we were talking about the other day and about one of these programs that's doing I don't know whatever 10 20 million or something and it looks so great from the entrepreneur standpoint. You're like I'm sure this person's being praised for this. Like wow, you're amazing. Look what you're doing and you don't even have to get on anymore. You don't even have to coach. You have coaches do it for you, which is like the ultimate dream for an entrepreneur. But then
Yeah.
this whole thing came out about the client experience and the customer experience and how there's all these people that are suing, want their money back, like feel like ripped off, they're going bankrupt, right? And so when you don't even think about it from that, like what is the actual customer experience when a business turns into that zone of like I'm like so far out of this and I'm making so much like money at this point and like the greed like kicks in and this weirdness kicks in but like you don't even hear that they're actually ripping people off on the other side.
Right.
So there's this like praise for these entrepreneurs who are doing these amazing things, but they're not even like we're just assuming they have a good product and they're doing a good job. And then you hear that they don't actually have a good product and they're not doing a good job and they're actually scamming people. And you're like, wow, there is always two sides of this story. And like we
Yeah.
don't want to be the people who make, 10 million, 20 million at the cost of, you
Of
know, our identity, right? Of like being like helping the planet. Like our legacy is more important than that. So that's something to think about when you do see these like smoke and mirrors entrepreneurs that are doing these amazing things that look really shiny. Like, well, what does it look like from their team? Does their team hate them? Like, is their turnover rate like insane? Right? Like, are there profits in the crapper? Like, are they treating people poorly? Right? Like, there's this whole other side of success that we don't really think about, and it's super interesting to think about. And yeah, so that is a very dark side of it.
Yeah, for sure. And if you want to model you look at a market competitor and you're like, "Oh, they're doing this." Like I see this happen a lot when you have a certain container, right? You're doing a mastermind and then you're like, "Oh, but a membership is cooler." Or you're doing a membership and you're like, "I wish I could do a mastermind." Or you are selling courses and you're like, "Oh, that person has a digital shop. That's really cool." Or you're like, "Oh, that person does retreats." And so I see people like with container envy or business model envy, and they're jumping. And maybe it's because I've worked at this point behind the scenes of all those containers. I'm like, yeah, you say you want that container, but here's what you're getting with that container. And it's so I think what you said, there's always two sides to every story. There's also two sides of every coin. So if you choose a digital shop, for example, you're getting all the benefits, which you can see when you're doing market research, but you're not seeing any of the downsides, right? And so it's not until you live out the experience of that container, right? I see people are like, "Oh, I wish I could sell high ticket." I'm like, "You do, do you? Do you wish for the sales team? Do you wish for the call center? Do you wish for the like chargebacks? Do you wish for the fact that it's the most high risk business model you could ever do? Do you wish for all of that too?" Right. And then they're like, "Oh, never mind. I want to do low ticket. Look at this person making 3 million on $37 products." I'm like, "That's awesome. Do you want to be a full-time ads manager? Do you want to make 300 creatives a week?" And then they're like, "Oh, right." So it's just sort of a realistic, like there is a bottom side of the coin to every business model. So yes, there are business models that are going to work differently for different people, but like none of the business models are lacking a bottom side of the coin. They all have them.
Sure.
So it's kind of like picking your poison.
It doesn't help that everything people share on social is the highlight reel either.
Yeah.
I watched a funny YouTube video about it was like showing all these influencers and how they're straight up lying to people. And it was a YouTube video and she would go over she like, okay, we would watch the clip and it would show someone like my 5 a.m. routine and they would like show them going throughout the day. And then she would just like bust it. Like she would like expose them that they were totally lying. Like she's like she's saying it's 6:01 a.m. and then on the clock on her like oven it says like 12:30 or something. And like just like it was just video after video of like how these
Hilarious.
influencers are full of crap. And I thought, oh my gosh, wait till she gets to the marketing industry. like if this lady on YouTube finds this our side of it, like oh my gosh, because we see this happen. I see it happen in like peer masterminds. They'll say one thing on social and they'll be like, guys, I'm really struggling, and they'll tell the truth on the side of, in peer mastermind or whatever. And so it's like, gosh, it is so dangerous to follow what people say online, like because she was even saying these guys are teaching health and wellness and they're not even doing it right. They're talking about all this stuff.
Right.
Like what if someone goes and follows that and they think that this is the way and then it's not actually the way? That's the problem. That's the downside of social media, is following any advice without the proof. So I mean, is there a way to know, like, how do you know if something's for you? How do you know if it's good if you don't see the bad side?
I know. I know. It's really hard. And when in our industry, I would say 90 to 95% of what you see is total crap. Like it's like wading through a dumpster looking for the like protected, not eaten yet donut, right? Like you're going to have to search through a lot of garbage. So, I mean, that's the depressing side. But the good side is that there are some clear ways to tell if someone is full of crap or not. And number one, part of it is longevity. Like, how long have they been in business? How consistent have they been? Have they preached basically the same message? Have they been consistent? Do they have a loyal fan base that can speak their minds, not just like cult followers that can't say anything negative, right? And then the big thing is like, How much do they back up their content with numbers and tactics? Like, I think that was the thing that I think the ideas that we do take and we do implement are like, we have actual numbers. We know how much it cost in ads. We know how much they made in revenue. We know what the refund rate was. Like, we have these really important KPIs that allow us to go in with our eyes wide open. And I think that's really important. And then another thing is, if you're hooked into a good freelancer community, like people who write copy and who do design, like those people know what's up because they're working behind the scenes in all the big businesses. And so you can very quickly figure out if someone's been working for someone for a long time and they're like, yeah, no, they're legit. They are, they're doing really well. Um, if someone is consistently projecting a message of perfection, big red flag. So you want to look and see imperfection showing up. That's a good sign, not a bad sign.
I mean, not to toot our own horn, but I would say that
But
we
here
are
I
no
go.
we are known for being really honest. Like we do say if something doesn't work or if it's not working, like we're not afraid to say it. And I don't think we portray ourselves to be anything than what we are. But I also think what's helpful, like whether they're working with you in DI directly, like you can see the inside of these businesses, right? And so because you have all this experience with people using the containers, using the offers, using the tactics, and you can be like, it worked for this person, it didn't work for that. So like if you
Right.
have a coach that is working with people, they're able to say, I know the truth and I know what's working and what's not. But also like even in our FG world, our students really gain that insight from you as well because you are working very intimately with people inside their businesses. You're able to see what's working, what's not working. You're able to tell the truth without like saying anybody's names or anything, obviously. But
Yeah,
we're
I can
also
see
doing it.
patterns.
Yeah, but we're
Yeah.
also doing it. We're also doing the launching. We're also doing the social. We're doing the emails. We're testing things out. We never launch something or teach something before we've launched it ourselves and worked
Yeah.
out all the kinks. And so when we did the PLM, launch gorgeous, we had to launch a PLM first, even though we had done them before. We're like, no, we've never done one in 2024, right? So like
Right.
if we're going to teach it in 2024, we need to launch one first in 2024 and see if this still works. It's not just assuming what worked in the past. I think that's a big problem too, is a lot of people are teaching things that they did years ago and they're just assuming they're the same. We're not assuming that. We're not going to assume that.
Yeah.
So you want to find someone to learn from. Again, it could be us, it could be not be us, but find someone that has boots to the ground, that's working on these offers, it's doing these things to kind of like bounce your offer off of, and or teaching things that they are doing in the moment, not one
Yeah.
year ago, 2 years ago, 4 years ago, in the golden age, right? Or whatever, like that are actually doing it today in today's economy.
Yeah. Well, your friend, my client, Amber Housley, she shared a story or reel to this morning, and the woman is talking about how if you smash a rock and it breaks, and you're like, oh, look, one hit and that rock broke. Well, what you don't know is that that was the 91st hit, and for 90 hits, the rock didn't break, and then on the 91st hit, it broke. And marketers who are trying to sell a quick win are going to always be like, look, one funnel made me $1 million, whatever. This is the golden ticket to your success. And they're not telling you that they had 90 hits before then that didn't make anything. And so it is really just looking for people who are giving a holistic view. You're not going to find many, but you will find some. And so I would say that the dark side of market research, and my advice is that when you are doing market research, you're doing it to look for voice of customer data. You're looking to see what kind of competition is there. But then there is a time and a place to shut that S down and put your blinders on and ignore everything and trust that what you have inside of you is going to produce great ideas, because then you don't have to worry about copying. You don't have to worry about getting accused of anything. And you don't have to worry about getting all the envy and jealousy and imposter syndrome that comes when you just spend endless amounts of time comparing yourself to other business owners.
It's especially harmful to creative people because creative people
Yeah.
already have like that imposter syndrome, and this just feeds into it. Like, you're right. They know better. You don't. Don't trust yourself.
Hmm.
You can't trust yourself because you're not good at this, right? Like, I mean, maybe everyone has this, but as a creative person, I take this very deeply. And even especially when you're doing something in your genius zone that you're really good at, sometimes it's worse. You have imposter syndrome worse, right? And so we're incredibly susceptible to not trusting ourselves. But that is one thing that I've learned from you is that when we do trust ourselves, when you and I kind of just like roll our sleeves up and really do what we do best, that it always does better than everybody else's ideas.
Yeah.
So please trust yourself, right? Like
Yeah.
you know your people. Sometimes people give away that power and they're like, "What do you think I should do?" I'm like, "No, what do you think you should do? You're the freaking goat at this. Like you should be like, calling the shots. This is your business. What do you want to do?" They're like, "Oh yeah,
Yeah.
you're right."
And don't be afraid to fail. I mean, right now at the time of this recording, we have this big Black Friday sale and we were centering it around AI and, trying to get in the AI space because it's going to freaking take over the world. And we had this whole plan of releasing our AI agent to help people make purchasing decisions. And we just had to be like, hey, it's not ready. Like we bit off more than we could chew and just being honest, saying, we're happy to let people test it, but our big clever idea is like taking us for a ride right now. She's not listening to us and we're kind of like in over our
We kind of
heads.
knew that though, when we were
I
like, well,
didn't. I thought it was
yeah.
going to work. Like I
Oh,
thought it was going
okay.
to work on the first shot.
maybe maybe I kind of I was like, okay, let's give it a shot. Why not? Just shoot your shot though, right? Like, what's the worst that could happen? We'd be like, just kidding, this is silly. Like, you can talk to her, but actually still, talk to our customer
Still, don't
service.
listen to anything she says. No.
Yeah, like take it with a grain of salt. But who cares? Like, it's not freaking, brain surgery or something. It's like,
Yeah.
it's marketing. Like, we're just trying things. If it doesn't work, it works. I don't know. Like, so I think, yes, not being afraid to fail because it's not the end of the world. It never's the end of the world, right? So it's just, but again, you've got to shoot those shots. You got to try it because what if it does really
Yeah.
well, right? Like, so think
Yeah.
of it positively and give it a shot, I think.
All right. Hopefully that helps. And as always, if you like these podcasts, tag us on Instagram at Funnel Gorgeous. Let us know. Leave a review. We're so grateful. And we will see you guys soon. Thanks, guys.
Thank you so much for hanging out with us today. We're just getting started with this podcast, and we're so excited to have you on this journey with us. If you found value in today's episode, we'd be over the moon if you'd consider subscribing. It's like a virtual high five that keeps us going. And hey, if you're feeling extra gorgeous, leaving a review would mean the world to us. Your words not only make our day, but it also helps other amazing folks just like you find our show through your review. Lastly, if you know someone who could use a little sales pep talk, why not spread the love? Share this episode and let's grow this gorgeous community together.